I looked back and I was like, okay, if coach doesn't want me on the team, it's because I'm not showing him that I deserve to be on that team. So um, I doubled up on my training after that.
Nice.
I was like,
Like, I'm gonna make this team.
I'm working a lot. But let me work a little more.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 4. We're here with my man Andres. He's taking time out of his day to talk to you guys, share some knowledge. We got our first soccer guy in here, so I'm super pumped to change the speed a little bit from football to soccer. So Andres, if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Andres Navas here from Miami, Florida. Born in,
305.
Born in Ecuador. Grew up in Kendall. And now I live here in downtown Miami.
Cool. So why don't we start with let's start with high school. So what you do in high school? Did you play multiple sports? Did you just play soccer? Or?
No, only soccer, man.
All day, every day.
My entire life was soccer.
Okay.
I actually never played in an actual team until I was like 12 years old.
Which is rare, right? For soccer, usually you start like super young.
Very young. So I was raised in Ecuador. So in Ecuador, you're playing soccer every day.
Part of the culture, I'm
I
sure.
would wake up, go to school, play soccer with my mates before we start school. Then during lunch, play soccer. Then after school, play soccer. But never in a team. Like it was just street ball the entire time. Then I came here to the States and then finally got into the system and started playing at 12 years old. High school, I played in Miami Sunset.
I know Sunset. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
We had a pretty good team. We were
Nice.
Back-to-back national champions.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah.
Back-to-back
No,
natties.
that was when I joined. So my freshman year, that was the second year.
Gotcha.
That we won national champions. So I wasn't really like a player. Like I was just in the squad. But yeah, man, we kept a good record throughout high school. We didn't win states in high school, but soccer, high school is not as important for soccer. It's more club.
You know, I learned that last year.
Can you get the mic a little closer to you? Yeah, that way, because otherwise it catches a lot of the air.
Okay.
Is
that better?
Yeah. Sorry.
So yeah, club soccer is more important. When I started playing immediately, I didn't know what team I was joining or anything, but a scout got me and put me in like the best team in the state. So
Nice.
I grew up competing at the highest level in club soccer, which is the more important one for soccer. And yeah, won 3 state championships growing up.
That's awesome.
And yeah, man. After high school, my senior year in high school, I got injured. I had a lot of good offers to go play D1. I got injured, and basically all my offers fell through. So I had the option to go to junior college to play.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents were like, "No,
You're not going to a JUCO?
Yeah, you're not."
Like
going
why?
to
Because
JUCO.
leaving the state, or just because like the level of it, or
I
both?
guess like a lot of parents were like talking, and it just JUCO had a bad rep.
right,
was like-
right, and football too.
Yeah.
So and football is like,
It was like going to Miami-Dade or FIU. Like people
Right.
think that you're going.
right.
It's still a good education, but
And it's also a stepping stone too. Like if you
Yeah,
feel
of
like
course.
you need more exposure, especially if you had either a bad GPA or like in your case you got injured and you're like, yo, I'm still that guy. I just got to
Right.
prove it.
Yeah.
You destroy everybody in JUCO. You're like, all right, we got to get this guy an offer
Absolutely.
ASAP.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like and
I have a lot of friends that went through that process and they
Mhm.
killed it in D1 after they went to JUCO.
same.
But no,
yeah.
my parents were just like, "No, you're not going to JUCO." and so I graduated high school at 17 years old. So I
Okay.
could have played club one more year after I graduated high school. So
Okay.
that's what I did. I played club one
Nice.
more year, and that 1 year I was going to FIU, but just to study. I wasn't playing, so
Okay.
I didn't waste a year of eligibility.
Yeah.
And then I had a good season, and I got all of my offers. I ended up going to Florida Gulf Coast University.
Nice.
D1 school. We were a very good program, so it was awesome. I loved it. Those 4 years playing
They flew by, huh?
soccer. Oh, they flew by, man. And
The
now I
blink
look
of an
back
eye.
and it's like, wow, it's so long ago too.
Yeah, that's how I feel about
I
it.
feel like it was yesterday, and it was more than 10 years ago already.
Especially when you see teammates like on social networks, you're like they're having kids or like they're running their businesses, and you're like, bro, I was just playing next to you like yesterday, you know, and then
Yeah.
like everyone's carrying on with their lives, you know.
Yeah, man.
So going back a little bit from transitioning from high school to college, especially that you were in another country too. Did you feel like that, like education wise, were you prepared for college? Like, did Sunset prepare you, you know, like to be a student athlete, student first,
Absolutely not.
or was it overwhelming?
Absolutely not. It was. It was so. I never considered myself a great student. I was a good student. Like I would get A's and B's, but without effort.
Yeah, in a public school, that doesn't mean much. You know,
Exactly.
it's
Like, now that I look back, it's like well, I wouldn't even try, but I had to get good grades. And when I got to college, it was a reality check for sure.
A little bit of a culture shock.
It was like, wow, I actually have to study now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I can't just like make good grades without putting effort. So yeah, no, Sunset definitely did not.
Yeah, because me personally, I went to South Miami High School, and as I mentioned in a previous episode, I had to learn how to study.
Yeah.
Like you have to read so much. You have to be able to like pick and pluck certain things, and when you take notes, you can't just rewrite everything you just read. That's exhausting and long, and it's not efficient at all. You know what I mean?
I remember they would teach us how to take notes. Like,
Yeah.
I never learned how to take notes. Like, you would think that's something basic that everybody should
Like
learn.
step one.
No, I didn't know any of that. So when I got to college, I was not ready to be a student athlete at all. Like,
Gotcha. Yeah, same here, bro.
Actually, when I went into college, I thought I wanted to be an engineer.
That's a tough major.
Yeah. So I started doing it, and then with soccer and balancing soccer and school, I was like, "There's no way I could do this." Like, I wasn't ready, so I actually changed my
Gotcha.
my major because of that.
It can be overwhelming, man. A lot of high school athletes, unless they had like an older sibling or a parent that went through the process, like you guys don't understand. I'm so happy that college athletes can get paid now and they can get sponsorships because it is a job, guys. Yeah. Like, I don't know about soccer, but with football, from personal experience, we would lift like at 5 a.m. And after that, have like either a short meeting or no meeting at all, and then go to school. In between school, have a meeting, then eat lunch. I mean, sorry, not lunch, dinner, you know, after practice, whatever. Sometimes another meeting, and then that's just one day. And you still have to like sleep, you still have to shower, you still have to like study and like do things for school, but you're exhausted.
Yeah, no, and then you're traveling. We would
The
travel
away
every other week. We would travel. You leave on a Thursday, you come back Monday. So,
and most professors are like, so
yeah, exactly.
Finish, like do it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely a lot, man.
Yeah, that's why I always like having professors that used to be athletes because they're way more sympathetic.
Yeah,
but the ones that were like, not to sound mean, but like the ones that were nerds or like that like didn't like athletes that much, like zero sympathy. They're like, I don't care if you had a game yesterday, you got to finish the test, no exceptions. So that can be kind of rough. So what was your GPA in the beginning of school? Were you able to like stay afloat, or did you struggle and then rise, or like I did?
It's funny. When I started, I think I had a 3.0, I think.
Nice. Okay.
But our soccer coach obviously was like really big on academics. So if you were below a 3.5, you had to do mandatory study hall. It was called. Okay. You had to do mandatory 10 hours of study hall. You had to report and study.
Signs of a good coach, because I had coaches that didn't care at all.
Really?
Yeah.
No, our coach, like if you didn't complete your 10 hours, you couldn't play. Oof. Yeah. So my first semester, I did it. I did 10 hours, and then after that, I was like, I don't want to come back to study.
I don't want to spend these hours.
Study hall sucked.
Study hall's terrible.
Hated going to study hall. It was like you're forced to study, and it was like, once I get out of these, this
purgatory.
Yeah, exactly. I'm never coming back. So I never went back. Like I actually made sure I kept up good grades, and they taught you how to study there.
Give you the tools.
And then after that, I did a pretty good job of keeping. I don't remember what my GPA was, but it was definitely over 3.5.
Yeah, hey, and that's a great GPA. That's not even like good. That's a great GPA. So that's awesome. All right. So in college, you were in Florida. You were a little bit away from home, right? So where was the school in Florida?
It's in Fort Myers. So it was
Fort Myers.
Perfect.
Yeah, so not too far, not too close.
Exactly. That was the biggest reason why I went there.
Gotcha.
It was I had options to go to Kansas, Chicago, Washington, or Orlando.
Okay.
UCF. And I wanted to go away for sure. I didn't want to
you didn't want to stay in Miami?
No.
Okay.
I definitely wanted to experience the full college life, like live in dorms and
nice,
hang out with my friends and stuff. But but I didn't want to be too far away. So it was perfect. It was just a 2-hour drive from home. So my parents got to come watch all my games. And whenever I was feeling homesick, I would just make that quick drive.
Home. Yeah. Nice. I went to schools way too far. So,
where'd you go?
Yeah, so I went to a school in Kansas, school in Ohio, and then I finally settled in a school in North Carolina. So that was the closest. But even North Carolina is still kind of far.
Still far.
You know, a drive is dreadful. And then a flight's kind of short, you know, but I would always drive. It was horrible. My little 09 Camry, 1,000,000 miles on it. With my mattress and all my dorm things. Like, oh, Lord. But it was the most exciting drive, though, going home. When you're feeling a little homesick, you go home, you're like, you get recharged, you know?
Absolutely. I'd come back full of energy, but after a few days of being home, getting some home cooked meals.
Oh my God. Hispanic moms getting your, oh my God.
Yeah, because in school, you know, I'm cooking for myself every day. And
it's dreadful.
Yeah.
Ramen noodles.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. So in college, besides the academics that we covered, what surprises were there? Whether it was with sports or dealing with coaches or teammates, was there any surprises or curveballs that you dealt with in those 4 years? That
I mean, that the schooling for me was huge.
The biggest.
I definitely wasn't ready, and having to actually put effort into school was a shock for me. And then also on the field, like you're used to
a certain speed,
playing club soccer, and you're like one of the best players. Mm-hmm. And then you get to college, and everybody's good.
You're a freshman.
Yeah, you're a freshman. Yeah, you're playing against older guys, and, more experience, and everybody's good. And D1,
yeah,
everybody has talent. So
recruiting is great. Yeah,
it was just like, wow, okay, now I can't just like ease my way through practices. I actually had to put effort, like a lot, and luckily I was able to adapt, and I still had a pretty
elevated, man.
Yeah, but it was definitely a shock when I got there.
And did they move positions on you, or you played exactly what you got recruited for?
Yes, for the most part. I was always a center attacking mid.
Okay.
And when I got to college, I played my first 2 years as a center attacking mid, and then I moved to the wing.
Okay.
Center, like a wide midfielder, but it's still in the midfield.
Wasn't too big of a
difference. I had to.
Okay.
I did have to adjust into making more runs to receive the ball rather than looking for my teammates to play balls in. But no, midfield is not a big difference from center to the right. So
gotcha.
I was able to adapt.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So we've established that you are a very accomplished college soccer player and all that stuff. So let's talk about Top Class a little bit. So how did that get started?
Yeah. So after college, I tried to play pro. I played second division in Tampa for a little bit. Then that team folded, so I went back.
What do you mean? Like finances or something?
Yeah, they just stopped paying the players, and the team disappeared.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay.
It was in the second division here. USL was only there for 2 years.
Okay.
Then went back home, got a day job, until I found an opportunity to go play pro.
Okay.
But then I just started making money, and when you're trying to go pro as a soccer player, if you're not Messi, Neymar, all these ballers, you have to start somewhere, and in that somewhere, you're not gonna get paid.
Gotcha.
Like they might pay for your housing, or they might pay a little bit, but it's not.
And for someone like me, because I don't know much about soccer, so like, how many is there a bunch of divisions or?
I mean, soccer's worldwide, so you could play anywhere.
Okay.
Like, I have friends playing in Cambodia, and in you could go to Europe and play in the 5th league and make money. You could go to South America. So when I was 24 years old, 24 is already pretty old for a soccer player.
Okay.
To start a career.
Yeah.
I stopped playing, trying to make it pro. I got a regular day job. I was just playing Sunday league with my friends. Good level, but not pro. And I got the opportunity to go pro in Costa Rica, second division.
Oh, my home. Okay.
So it was, I was 24 at the time. And in my head, I was like,
24-year-old rookie.
I don't want to go. But if I don't go, I'm going to regret this for the rest of my life. So I was like,
the competitor in you.
Yeah. So I'm like, let me just go. So I went, and Soccer was awesome, but living there was terrible. I
Yeah.
hated it. It was no air conditioning. It was super hot. No hot water.
Oh my
I
God.
was living in a very small town. Like I would walk to practice and like see iguanas on the floor, monkeys swinging.
You're in the
That's not-
jungle.
that's not
You're in the
alive, bro.
jungle.
Yeah. And so I was there only like a month, and then I came back. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah. At least you saw it through.
I experienced it. Yeah. And then I didn't know what to do, so I went back to school. I hated school. I don't know why. Actually, I know why. It was my girlfriend at the time made me go. She like did all my application, did everything, and enrolled me in.
And what, to get like a master's or
to get a
doctorate?
master's. Yeah, so
Okay.
I got a master's in business administration
Ooh,
with
okay.
a concentration in entrepreneurship.
Bro, so speaking of that's an interesting topic because a couple episodes ago I spoke to a business owner and we were talking about how if college prepares you to run a business and all that stuff, to be an entrepreneur, since you've been on both sides of it, do you feel like those classes helped you for real life and stuff like that? Or?
Absolutely. So I wouldn't say so. Like maybe not so much for undergrad,
Mhm.
but grad school for sure.
It got more specific, right? I'm assuming.
I mean, it was entrepreneurship, and I was literally learning from like entrepreneurs. That's what I loved about it. We'd always have guest
Awesome.
speakers. We'd always have real business owners that would come and teach us their experiences, and all our professors were entrepreneurs too. So
Awesome.
definitely prepared me, but I wish I would have done it once I started my business.
Oh, because your business was already going at this point?
No, my business started like 2 years after.
Oh,
Or
okay.
like 2 years after. So if I would have had my business while I was in school, I would have been able to apply everything fresh, and it would have helped me more. But it still helped me a lot. And like I look back at it, and it was like, yeah, it definitely
That's awesome.
prepared me to start top class. And going back to your question, so after I got my master's, I had a regular day job. My dream was always to buy a indoor soccer field.
Okay.
But
That's
multiple. Like it's just a good business. Like low maintenance. You buy a field and you rent it out.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's more to it.
Right.
For the most part, it's an easy business to run. So that was always my goal. I did a business plan for it. Like one of my classes, we had to create a whole business plan, and I had it ready, but just need a lot of money to do that. So
And guys, sorry to cut you off. So what Andres just described and very vaguely went over, a business plan can be extremely complicated. Like he just brushed over it, but it can be very extensive. I'm still working on mine for my nonprofit for 31 Vision because in order for us to get grants, I have to have a legit business plan. And I'm like, bro, so much goes into
it's
this.
incredible. So
yeah.
So we had to do that for one of our classes, and same thing. I thought it was gonna be simple, like just Google business plan.
Yeah, right.
But no, you have to do all the research and all the planning, and it's definitely. Like, I remember when they told us the assignment, it was like it has to be They didn't say it has to, but they're like it's gonna be about 30 pages. I've never written a 30-page paper before.
30 pages of what?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, are you serious? And when I finished the assignment, it was like 70 pages. I wrote it all, and I was like, wow. And I guarantee you, it needed to be longer because there's just so much that goes into creating a good business plan. But now that I made a business plan and started a different business, I think the best way to learn is just by doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
someone can tell you all they want, but unless you do it,
like you don't need a business plan to start a business. You just need to start. I think that's the hardest part. Just start, and then you'll figure it out as you go through the business. Obviously, if you can do it and prepare before you start, it's even better. But
yeah,
you definitely learn. That business plan is not gonna prepare you for like all the challenges that you face as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and when you started as an entrepreneur, were you completely on your own, or did you partner up with people? Or I know that's definitely a factor.
So going back to how I started, I didn't start this business to make it a business. I had my day job. I was super happy. I was on my way up to being like, I just kept getting promoted in that job. So I was really happy there. And but I missed soccer, and I started seeing these trainers that were making money charging people, and I knew the trainers, and they were
And
not
they
good
weren't-
soccer players.
Mm.
So it was like, okay, these guys are making money off.
It's
kids,
like
and
bothering
what,
you.
What
It's
are you
like-
teaching them? Like,
Yeah.
there's no way you could teach something.
I got a few of those examples with football too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I'm gonna start doing this good little money on the side, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be able to give some good
Good advice.
some good advice to these kids. So I started it, and yeah, man, it grew. They loved, the parents loved my training, the kids loved it. Started telling more and more kids, and it started growing. And I remember at my day job, I had the opportunity to work Monday through Thursday, so I had Fridays off. And I remember I would set up trainings Fridays from 2 to 8 p.m. back to back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I remember it was January. And I was like, I could do this now. It's not that hot. But come summertime, there's no way I
Brutal.
could do it. You know how hot it gets here in Miami. And it rains every day. So so I reached out to this guy that owned an indoor soccer field, so that we can work out a deal where he can let me use his space for my trainings. And by a miracle of God, bro, he was like, look, I haven't put it up for sale or anything, but I'm willing to sell it.
Wow.
And I didn't have any money. I was like, I need to find the money for this somehow. So,
Yeah, I gotta make this happen.
bro, I asked everybody. I borrowed money from friends, family, savings, piled it all up, and made the jump, man. I
Made it happen,
I-
bro. It takes a lot of courage, bro. A lot of people wouldn't take that
super-
risk.
no, it was very scary, man. Like, especially I've always been the type that I don't like to get in debt.
Mhm.
And it was the first time I was getting in big debt.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pay this off, but
You took the leap.
You gotta, you just had to do it, and it was the best decision I made. I mean,
Now you're booming, baby.
yeah.
Let's
So-
go.
So that's when Top Class really took off. But yes, to answer your question, I did start on my own. I was training kids on my own, and then I have a couple of friends that we always talk about this. We're always like, bro, we were so good playing soccer growing up. Miami has the best soccer players anywhere. We have the best Colombians, we have the best Brazilians, we have the best Argentinians, we have the best from everywhere. But none of us are playing pro. We only have two friends that are playing pro. And we're like, why? And it's because nobody taught us what it takes to get to pro. Like, nobody told us that we had to work extra hard, or on your days off, go work on a specific skill that you need. Which now it sounds like everybody should know that. But back then we didn't have Instagram. We didn't have all these social media.
That changes a
platforms.
lot, man. The
incredible.
information available.
Oh man,
Yeah.
like crazy.
That's
So,
huge.
So back then I could tell you, and again, I talked about this with my friends. I told you we were state champions 3 times. Our coach was a football coach. He wasn't a soccer coach. Okay. And we trained
How'd you guys make that work?
we
You guys are
had
just that
talent.
talented?
We were just nasty.
That's awesome.
So we had practice Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then games on the weekend.
Wait. Time out. Twice a week?
Twice a week.
Yeah, you guys are just loaded then, for sure.
Yeah.
You guys are just sick.
Yeah. And
Twice a week.
so we're having
Wow.
this conversation with my friends, and we're like, bro, what were we doing on our days off? Like, I remember on my days off, I was playing basketball with my neighbors. I was riding bikes. Like, I
If
wasn't.
I was a coach, I would have been like, don't you get hurt playing
Yeah.
basketball, man. What are you doing? You know?
Yeah, like, I could tell you, till now I have a somewhat of a weak foot. It's gotten better, but recently. Nowadays, like, the talented kids, we're teaching them to use their left foot. So by the time they're 12, 13, they could shoot with both feet.
Yeah.
We didn't do that. We didn't train.
Just winging it.
And now looking back, it's like, what would have happened if we actually put in all the hours of extra work? What would have happened if we actually had a soccer coach that would guide us the right way? So then that's when me and my mates were like, let's make this an actual business. Let's not just do it for money anymore. Let's make it big. So then that's when we drew up the plans and created
Awesome,
the
bro.
logo and all that. And then that's how Top Class.
That's why you guys are doing so well, man. Because in a city like Miami, where like the money is the bottom line, what really sets you apart from other businesses? Like your end goal.
Why?
Yeah, your why.
why.
You know what I'm saying? And you guys actually caring about how these kids develop, like that says more about you guys than, you know, how much money you make or
Yeah,
like
no,
you know, how much
absolutely.
you charge or whatever.
We talk about it with my coaches that at Top Class, we always say the most rewarding thing is seeing the development in the kids, seeing the impact that we have in the kids. Like
It's a great feeling.
the parents come and tell us, look what this kid did on the weekend, or the kid comes super happy and thanks you. That's the most gratifying part of this business for sure.
Nice. So a little piece of your business and your why is 31 Visions why. So we haven't really spoken much about it. We're more like beach soccer buds, but the reason why 31 Vision exists is because athletes like myself and like my mates, you know, a lot of talented football players, man, like a lot are in Miami. They fall through the cracks. They don't make it to college. They don't do anything. And I'm just like, why? Why are these great athletes not succeeding? And it's exactly what you said. If they just had a little nudge this way, a little guidance this way, a little, and like we spoke about earlier, like if you don't have an older sibling or a parent that went through it, who are you going to get that guidance from?
Exactly.
So it's just a tough thing to do. And I'm glad that you run a business that's like tailored around that. And hopefully 31 Vision, you know, does the same, impacting the youth. Man. That's awesome, bro. So you being a successful soccer player, being a successful athlete, what values do you think, or in what ways did soccer help you? You know, you got your business degree, you did all these things, you know, with the books. As far as dealing with people, being an entrepreneur, like how did soccer specifically help you with that aspect of business? Or
I think the biggest thing is teamwork. I mean, I'm glad I played soccer and not tennis. like something that I'm by myself.
You heard, Blue?
Yeah, I mean, you learn how to work as a team, how to compensate for each other. Maybe in my business, I might be good at organizing, but I suck at something else. Then having good teamwork, you hire somebody that can do all those things that you can't. So I think that's one of the things that soccer taught me. And then the biggest one is leadership. In soccer, I was a captain a lot through my through just growing up in club, and then in college they named me captain my senior year. So just learning how to lead, like through example, learning how to talk to different personalities. I think that's the biggest thing. I always
how to trigger people, in a good way.
In a good way, because I can't talk to you the same way I talk to somebody else. On the field, you might be somebody that's tough, and I can yell at you, and you don't take it personal, but it's gonna get you fired up, and it's gonna get you going the right way.
Right.
There's somebody else that if I yell at, they might shut down, and I might destroy their confidence. You know. So it's I think the biggest thing is just learning how to deal with different personalities, and the only way to do that is by getting to know them. You can't just show up to a team and start leading. You got to get to know everybody on the team and start reading players and just learning how to talk.
What makes them tick.
Yep.
No, that's a great quality for sure. And something you touched on making up for somebody else's weaknesses or vice versa. That's something that I'm learning now with 31 Vision is, you know, like, there's no way I can do this by myself. There's no way. There's not enough time in the day for me to do this by myself. And like you said, like, I need to hire someone to help me with marketing, or someone to help me with fundraising, or there's so many aspects to a business, not just a nonprofit, to like a regular LLC, a corp, whatever.
Yep.
And it really does take a team of people to do that. So that's something I had to learn the hard way. I was like, I can't do this by myself. There's no shot.
Of course, man. It's way too much. There's too many moving parts.
Yeah.
And even if you are good at all those things, you can't split yourself up into 5 different people to do everything. So you definitely need a team.
Nice, man. All right. So what, in your opinion, we talked about your why a little bit. What do you think took Top Class to the next level besides your why? Obviously, we know you guys are genuine about your work. Is there any other aspect of Top Class you think that took you guys to the next level compared to, like, let's say I run a soccer training business.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the biggest thing for us is who we hire. I mean, I'm very, very picky about who we hire. Our coaches not just have to have experience on the field, but they have to have experience dealing with people. Just
that's a skill in itself.
Absolutely. I've had people that were testing to see if we hire them as coaches, and could be the best soccer player in the world, but doesn't know how to talk to a kid, doesn't know how to get the best out of a kid. So you could teach those things, but it takes time. So I've been very picky with who we pick to be as one of our coaches, and I think that's what's made us successful. I brag about this all the time. I have the best coaches in soccer. I believe it. I always have parents that want to train, and they're like, "No, I want my kid training with you specifically." I'm like, you're gonna get good training.
This is why I got them.
Like, you're gonna get better training if you go with my other coaches. So, I think that's I think the success of top class is my coaches for sure.
Nice. And would you say you learned how to do the hiring process because of like your education with business, or something you kind of like learn along the way, and what qualities you want to search for, or a combination of both?
I think it's a combination of both, but for me, so at my day job, I was a manager. So I was managing groups of 20 people, and I was doing hiring. So I would hire people. I'd have to fire people too.
That's part of the
yeah. So definitely my my day job got me ready for that for sure. I was already teaching in a way. I was already developing agents. It was a call center for DirecTV. So I was developing people how to sell more, how to have good customer service. So nothing. I would have to give the trainings to all these employees, and I had to get them to work together so we can,
for a common goal.
Complete all our goals as a team. And definitely that was the biggest thing that helped me to run a business now.
Making them work together. Yeah. Those are all qualities that people like that don't run a business might take for granted. They're like, oh, I just got to make these people work together. Right. What if A doesn't like D? What if C doesn't like B?
Absolutely.
They still got, but they're all great soccer coaches. But what if they don't? What do you got to do? It's on you to make that chemistry work, and that gets overlooked a lot, man. There's so many personalities in a team, you know, and that's something that's definitely a skill.
Parts, yeah.
So that's really cool. You can make that all work, man. So college, going back a little bit to college, positive takeaway from it? Yeah. Negative takeaway? Like, positive. So all positive
for sure. I think college was an incredible experience. Every time I look back, it's like, I loved it. It was the best 4 years of my life, I think.
It's awesome.
Just playing at a high level, competing every day in practice was already like if you're playing a game, you're practicing with a bunch of ballers, and it's just high intensity, competitiveness. And then school, I was never a big fan of school.
Hey, but you got that 3.5. You got out of that study hall.
I had to. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really enjoy the school part of it, but
not too many do. I don't.
But think. Overall, the 4 years in college was an incredible experience for me. Positive for sure.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. That's definitely a topic I like to touch on with everybody and see, you know, what they think about it.
There's a lot of people that have terrible experiences. Yeah. You know? I have a lot of friends that ended up quitting and never finished their schooling, which for whatever reason, it might be good, it might be bad, but yeah, I mean, it could go both ways, you know?
Yeah. For me, it was like 2/3 bad, 1/3 good. I had like a mixture of both, you know, but for everyone, everyone has their own path, you know?
Yep.
So if you can travel in time, right, and talk to your younger self, what would be like 1 or 2 pieces of advice you might tell yourself, young Andres walking around?
For sure, put in the extra work. I was lazy. I never
could have done more a little bit.
Yeah. So this is something that I always talk to my my athletes about. It's you need discipline. You need discipline in order to make it anywhere in life. And especially in soccer, like I look back and I remember, this is actually a funny story. We would do fitness and we had to run around the entire park. And I remember we had a friend that when we were going on the far end, when we were going around the post of the lights, he would hide behind the light. So the rest of the team kept going in a circle and he would skip a lap. So we're Miami people are like that.
Yeah.
Like
Cutting
we cut
corners. Yeah.
We cheat. We skip a lap.
Yeah.
And I was no different. I mean, I hated fitness. When I got to college, the very first day we had to do a fitness test, and it has a lot of cutting. It's a 300-yard shuttle.
Yep.
And I remember this is a crazy lesson that I learned on the first day of college. They split us up into groups, or like they let us choose our groups, and I chose all my Miami people. So I was in the group of the Miami people, and I remember there was another group, and it was just like all these guys from up north, like Indiana, Texas, and we're doing the 300-yard shuttle. And from cutting so much, you're leaving marks on the grass. And by the end of the drill, you realize their marks were on the cone.
Oh,
our marks were like a yard before the cone.
Oh my God, you snitched on yourselves.
And it's like it's crazy to me how I was like, wow, we really cut corners, man. Like
Any chance we get
discipline. So so definitely, if I had to give myself advice, is do the right things. Don't cut
do the little things.
Do the extra work. I never did any extra work. And like I told you, look, I didn't start using my left foot until I got to college.
That's crazy to hear.
It's crazy to me that I went 18 years practicing twice a week, and not once I went out and practiced my left foot. Never.
That's insane.
So it's like, yeah, if I could go back, I'd tell myself that, and maybe I'd have a good left foot. Maybe I'd be faster, stronger. I don't know. I'd definitely have more hours of practice under me though, for sure. And who knows where I would have ended up if I would have done that.
Gotcha. All right, man. Well, one more. Sorry. Any advice for young viewers? You know, going from high school to college or already in college. Any little piece of advice you might not have mentioned?
No, I think for me the advice I always give people is just work hard, man. Work hard, and it's got to be consistent. It can't just be I
When you
work
feel
hard
like
today, and tomorrow no, the next day yes. I think that's something that I learned after college, and I'm applying it now with beach soccer. I started playing beach soccer 2 years ago, and I had an opportunity to go to the World Cup. I got called up for the camp, and I think it was 16 people in camp, and only 14 got to travel. And I got left out. I didn't go. And I asked myself, like, what would I tell the kids? It's like, work hard. Like, if you really want it, you got to start working hard. And after that, I've been working so hard to try to get into the national team, and just training every day, doing the extra work, waking up at 5 a.m., even on the days that you don't want to, like,
which is most days. That's so early.
You just got to push, and obviously you got to want it. If you don't want it, obviously you're not going to do it. You're not going to find the will, the passion for it. But if you really want it, you got to put in the work, and if you do it consistently for a big enough period of time, you're gonna see the results, and you look back and it's like, wow, like, I couldn't do this a year ago. I couldn't do that a year ago. But all those days of hard work and discipline, they pay off. They pay off. So I think that's the biggest advice I'd give people. Just stay disciplined, work hard, and stay consistent.
Nice. I'll piggyback off that too. Especially like you were saying, Miami people, they cut corners and stuff. Guys, if you're an athlete and all your friends don't play sports, right? You're going to be influenced sometimes in a negative way to go out to do something social or to go out to do this. You have to understand that your journey sometimes is going to be your journey, and you're going to have outside noise that's going to be influencing you. Sometimes in a good way, but most of the times is in a bad way. So like piggybacking off what Andres said, work hard, man. Even if people are telling you, yo, slow down, stop. Why are you working on a Friday night? Like, let's go out. No, man, put in your work and then you can have fun later. Like, always prioritize the work, always prioritize the craft, and you'll be successful, man.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Going back to how we talked about how there's so much talent for soccer players in Miami. A lot of the ones that didn't make it was because of that. They started going out. We live in Miami. We live in the funnest city in the world. So you got distraction left and right. You got a beautiful girl everywhere that you look.
Everywhere.
Parties everywhere. Just Miami is a very tough place to stay focused. But again, if you really want it, you got to do what's right and stay focused and dedicated.
Jason just asked Andres a great question. So, in what moment in his career was something like very painful, but in the end, it ended up paying dividend in the long run and like ended up helping him out?
Yeah, for sure. For me was I think that same story of not getting called up to the national team. I thought I was in for the World
sure,
Cup.
right?
And coach told me I didn't have enough experience to go, and I understand there's no hard feelings. But it was hard on me for sure.
Your competitive side, of course.
I was really looking forward to that, and the next opportunity that we got, I got hurt. I got injured, so that one hurt too. And yeah, I actually thought about like quitting. I was like, do I even want to do this anymore? Like, I've been working so hard. Do I even want to keep waking up at 5 a.m., keep doing all these workouts, keep having Coach Lou make us run? do I want to go through all that suffering? But I knew what I really wanted, and I knew there's always gonna be another opportunity. So I think I looked back and I was like, okay, if coach doesn't want me on the team, it's because I'm not showing him that I deserve to be on that team. So I doubled up on my training after that.
Nice.
I was like
I'm gonna make this team.
I'm working a lot. But let me work a little more. Let me not kill my body, but I could do other things that can help me. So in beach soccer, we keep the ball in the air a lot. So I own an indoor facility that's indoor. I could play with the walls. So every day we'd go to train in the morning. I'd be tired, but maybe I'd get to my training sessions 15 minutes before for the kids. Just start working with the ball in the air. Just doing extra little things, that will help.
Man. The little things add up.
And I don't think I would have done it if coach would have told me no. And
then like a loss to wake you up.
Yeah, exactly. So now I finally got called up to the national team.
Let's go.
I'm going to a tournament in Dubai at the end of the month.
Let's go.
So yeah, man, it's a big relief. It's very rewarding to see that all that hard work paid off.
Nice, bro.
One more.
Okay. Jason asked, is the guy right now going to Dubai, is that guy better than the guy that got cut before or didn't make the squad before?
Yeah, absolutely. I think
so USA benefits from it too. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. Great.
Yeah. I think everything that we do every day should be to get better in anything that we do. And yeah, man, I mean, all that hard work, it paid off, and it shows. Feeling. And it shows, and I feel it. I feel stronger. I feel faster. I feel cleaner with my touch. I feel more confident. Absolutely. Nice. 10 times more confident than I did before. Before I was like, I don't know if I'm that good to make the national team, but now it's like, I think
I'm making this team.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely better.
Awesome, man. Thank you for giving us your time, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Me, man. I enjoyed it.
Thank you guys for watching, man. Thank you, Andres, for giving us your time. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share, and make sure to follow Andres as well. Andres, what are your handles?
It's Top Class Training for our training business, and then for the indoor soccer field is The Soccer Miami. We host birthday parties, we do field rentals, and obviously we train kids. So
nice. In Pinecrest, right?
In Pinecrest, yeah.
Nice.
Right across the falls.
Nice. So if you guys are in the area, man, make sure to hit up Andres. All right. Thank you guys for watching.